I'm just going to talk for a little bit about my relationship to propaganda and false news. This has been one of the most traumatic things that's ever happened to me in my life, and I recently, these last couple days, I've been doing some trauma processing by writing, and the assignment is to choose the hardest thing you've ever experienced and write about it for 15 minutes a day for 4 days, and to tell the facts about it, tell the feelings about it then and now, and how it's linked to one's experience today. So I've been doing this writing, and I just want to talk a minute about how I kind of had to change my personal relationship with propaganda and the news sources that people believe. When this war first started, the Russians came in and were very near to Kiev, and when that was freed on March 31st, area was all freed, and they just found the most horrible things done to people in that particular occupied territory around Kiev, and like just terrible forms of rape and people strung in trees and just shot in the streets and just like bound up with like explosives and just like it was so horrifying. And here I am, I'm far away in Albania, but you feel like all of this is happening to you personally. It doesn't matter that you're far away. It's happening to you personally. And at that same time, all of this propagandic and untrue things were coming out about how Russia is only targeting certain biolabs, that, Ukrainians are Nazis who are hurting their own people. Like all these weird, bizarre, like things that are bizarre that we all, like as Ukrainians, we all knew they had absolutely nothing to do with what was happening in Ukraine and with this horrible invasion. We all knew that, but other people are writing me, and they don't believe what I realized. And what was so difficult was that while all of these horrible things were happening to Ukrainian people far away were believing exact opposite things that were like totally not at all related to it, and they wouldn't believe me. They wouldn't believe what I was telling them, and I realized they would only believe their own sources of information. They wouldn't believe me. I wasn't in that role in their life, and for a while, it was just agonizing watching how Ukrainians had to defend themselves physically, but also like from all of this online attack. And one time, it was years later in counseling, I did drew this little thing where you do the circle of control, the circle of influence, and everything outside of my control. I'm just going to show you mine for a moment. So hold on. This is what I wrote while I was in counseling. My circle of control and things I can't control. I can't control what information sources people choose, and I can't control who they believe. Like that's totally outside of my circle of control. So before that, I had just stopped arguing with people online because I realized that they weren't open to hearing from me. And several unhealthy conversations had gone on where I'm thankful that it feels like somebody cares and is listening, but in reality, they don't necessarily care and they're not necessarily listening to me. So I had to kind of cut off those conversations, and I try not to enter into them even now. So what I want to say, when I just came to peace with the fact that also in my counseling, I was told that I am a victim in this situation. I am not a hero who's standing by and can actually help save people. I'm not in that role. I myself am also a victim of this, not just my children and my husband. And the role of the victim is to be protected. So I have been so thankful for the people who protect Ukrainians and Ukraine. They're everywhere, all over the world, and I am very grateful to them. And I just want to close this with a verse I remember from years ago, and it's in Psalm 115, this set of verses, and it's about people who make idols. And they say the idols have ears, but they cannot hear. They have eyes, but they cannot see. They have noses, but they cannot smell. They have hands, but they cannot touch. They have feet, but they cannot walk. Those who make them will become like them, and so will all who trust in them. And I've just realized that I have had to examine my heart. What information sources am I trusting in? Because if I trust in certain information sources, I become incapable of seeing the truth and seeing reality. I become incapable of hearing reality. I become incapable of speaking reality. I become like those idols that I have put as my truth sources and what I'm going to believe. And so I have just had to really examine my own heart, that I don't allow these things to happen to me, and ask God to reveal anywhere that I've allowed this to happen. And I just have learned to let God deal with other people who are putting these idols in front of them, because often you don't even know. You don't know that you've done this, that you believe this thing more than you believe God even. It's in a lot of ways. And we have to be so careful about these influences that we put in our life. But I can't choose for other people what it's going to be for them. They have to choose. And that kind of has just given me a freedom to relax about trying to defend every lie that comes out, So, but thank you to all the people who are interested to find the truth and speak it, and to take care of on your own level what you have influence over, trying to protect those who are being slaughtered. And I just want to thank you for that.